Hello and welcome to Living Well in Retirement. Welcome also to today's video. On March the 25th, Chancellor Rachel Reeves delivered her spring statement, which has raised some serious concerns for the future of families across the UK. One shocking revelation was that 500,000 children will be plunged into poverty due to cuts to welfare programmes and rising costs. But here is the crucial question: who should bear the burden of plugging the UK's growing deficit? Should it be benefit claimants who are already struggling to get by? Or should the wealthiest millionaires finally step up and contribute more to the UK economy? Today we'll break down what this means for the average person, why millionaires may need to pay more, and how we can close the UK deficit without leaving vulnerable groups behind. First, let's look at the Chancellor's statement, Child Poverty and the Deficit. Chancellor Rachel Reeves has acknowledged that to reduce the UK's national deficit, cuts are going to have to be made. However, this comes at a high cost, especially for the most vulnerable. According to the Spring Statement 2025, 500,000 children will fall into poverty as a result of cuts to child benefits and a reduction in social welfare support. This is a direct impact of the government's push to balance the books. But is it fair? These cuts to child benefits and other welfare services are directly tied to the government's deficit reduction strategy. While the Chancellor claims this is necessary to keep the UK economy afloat, many are questioning whether it's the right approach. Let's turn to the strain on benefit claimants. Should they pay the price? Here's the situation for benefit claimants. These are the people who rely on financial support to cover the basics: food, rent, utilities. And for many, welfare cuts are only going to make life more difficult. The government's solution to tackling the UK's deficit is to reduce welfare payments. But this means hard-working families will bear the brunt of the cuts. Is it fair to ask the most vulnerable to sacrifice even more just to help balance the country's books? To make matters worse, the cost of living continues to rise, with no sign of it slowing down. Families are already struggling to make ends meet, and with the Chancellor's proposed cuts, it's going to be even harder. So while the government wants to reduce the deficit, the real question is, should it fall on the backs of those who are already struggling? Okay, now let's look at the case for millionaires paying more. A fair contribution, we might ask. So we'll shift gears and talk about these millionaires. In contrast to the hardship facing benefit claimants, the UK's wealthiest individuals have continued to see their fortunes grow, even in the midst of the country's financial struggles. In fact, the top 1% of earners control 25% of the nation's wealth. Yet many of these millionaires avoid paying their fair share of taxes, taking advantage of loopholes and offshore tax havens. Should the wealthiest 1% contribute more to the UK economy to help reduce the national deficit? After all, they have the means to do so. Closing tax loopholes and raising taxes on the wealthiest individuals could generate significant revenue for the government, money that could be used to improve public services, support welfare programmes and reduce inequality. And what if millionaires paid more? Will this ensure a better future for the UK? Let's imagine for a moment. What would happen if the UK's wealthiest individuals were taxed fairly and their contributions helped close the deficit? Well, the reality is we could see massive improvements in public services. Healthcare, education and welfare programmes could be properly funded, ensuring that vulnerable people like children, pensioners and working families receive the support they need. Reducing child poverty could become a reality if more of the wealthiest paid their fair share. By asking the wealthiest to contribute more, the UK government could reinvest in public services that benefit everyone, not just the wealthy few. This would mean better education, healthcare and housing, ultimately creating a fairer, more balanced society. While taxing millionaires more could benefit public services and reduce inequality, it could also lead to challenges like tax avoidance and decreased investment in the economy. So as we look at the UK's future, we need to ask ourselves, who should plug the deficit? Should it fall on the shoulders of benefit claimants, the very people who can least afford it? Or is it time for the wealthiest millionaires to step up and contribute more to help close the UK deficit? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the wealthy should pay more? Or do you think benefit claimants should bear the brunt of this financial burden? Your opinion matters, and we want to hear from you. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more updates on the UK state pension news, welfare reforms and discussions on the future of the UK economy. Have a good evening.